welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah.
Today, we are going on a deep dive journey through the mind
Dive.
of the legendary Peter Drucker
Mm-hmm.
and his book, Managing for Results.
Managing for results.
We got excerpts from the book itself,
Oh, cool.
plus some added context,
Nice.
all ready to basically distill down
Yeah.
into the most essential insights.
I love it.
We're even going to wrap up with a concise 10-point summary
That's all.
of all the key takeaways, so it's easy to remember and apply it to your world.
Okay. So what makes a book from 1964 so fascinating?
Well, it's amazing how Drucker's ideas about
Yeah.
effectiveness over efficiency, they're shockingly relevant now,
They are.
even today. He challenges why businesses exist,
Okay.
saying it's not about profits.
Wait, hold on. That's a little radical, isn't it?
It is a bit provocative, I know,
Yeah.
but he says profits are a result of effectiveness,
Ice.
not the goal themselves.
Oh.
Businesses, he says, exist to create value,
Yeah.
both for customers and the economy as a whole.
Makes you wonder how many businesses are just chasing the wrong thing then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really makes you think. One of the first things Drucker really dives into is this concept of business realities, which...
So like understanding the landscape.
Exactly. Understanding the lay of the land.
Yeah.
You know, you can't control the weather
Right.
or the terrain. You have to adapt to them.
Exactly.
Drucker argues that even external factors that a business has no control over
Yeah.
shape the opportunities available.
I see.
He actually gives an example of a company that struggled
Oh, really?
despite having a fantastic product.
Interesting.
Why? Because their distribution system was a complete mess.
Ah, so great product. Wrong channels.
Exactly. Wrong channels. So they were efficient internally,
Yeah.
but externally failing,
They were falling flat.
falling flat.
It's like having a finely tuned engine, but flat tires.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere.
That's a perfect analogy.
Right?
And overlooking these business realities
Yeah.
can be fatal.
Yeah, it can.
Another thing Drucker points out
Okay.
is this need to allocate resources to opportunities,
Okay. Yeah.
not just to problems.
I mean, obviously you can't ignore the problem.
Of course, you can't just ignore problems,
Yeah.
but he suggests that they shouldn't be the sole driver
Of your strategy.
of the strategy. While you address them,
Yeah.
your primary focus should really be on areas
Yeah.
with the highest potential for growth and impact.
So it's about playing offense, not just defense.
Yeah.
You can't win a game by only focusing on blocking the other team.
Exactly.
Right.
You need to score points.
Score some points.
And that brings us to another concept, leadership position.
Okay.
It's about identifying where your business can excel,
Okay.
not trying to be, everything to everyone.
Right. So many companies make that mistake.
So many companies,
Trying to be all things to all people.
they fall into that trap.
It's like spreading yourself too thin.
It's like spreading yourself too thin.
Yeah.
You can't master everything.
You can't.
And Drucker cautions against this, saying that it just dilutes your focus.
Yeah.
Think about companies like Apple.
Apple, yeah.
They don't try to make everything,
Right.
but they dominate in their chosen areas.
Exact.
That leadership position is clear.
And that's been a key to their success.
Yeah. Makes you think about what your unique strengths are,
Totally.
where you can really stand out from the
Mhm.
crowd. Drucker then introduces this very powerful concept
Okay.
called result areas.
Result areas. Okay, so this is about
It's about breaking down
knocking it down.
a business
Yeah.
into its core components.
Like looking at a machine and seeing how all the parts contribute.
Exactly.
I see.
He talks about analyzing areas like products and services, markets, customer segments, and distribution channels.
Got it.
This lens really helps you identify both strengths and weaknesses,
Okay.
and that allows you to make very targeted adjustments
To achieve better outcomes.
to achieve better outcomes.
Yeah.
It's kind of like taking inventory,
Right.
but instead of counting widgets,
Right.
you're assessing the health of all these different areas.
Yeah.
And it underscores the
Yeah.
importance of having a really clear understanding of what product really means.
That's where Drucker gets really interesting.
It is. He says it's not just about the physical item or service, but about truly understanding the needs and desires it fulfills for the customer.
So it's not just your perspective, it's about seeing it through the customer's eyes.
Yes. It reminds me of the Gillette safety razor, that
Okay.
classic example.
Perfect example.
Gillette practically gave the razors away
Right?
to create a market for the blades,
Which were the real moneymaker.
which were the real moneymaker. Yeah. Their product wasn't just a razor. It was a whole shaving system, the experience.
The whole experience, yeah.
They understood the customer's needs.
Yeah.
and designed a product
Right.
that addressed them, uniquely and in a compelling way.
It's like peeling back the layers of an onion.
That's a great analogy.
You got to reveal the core value proposition.
Absolutely. This idea of looking beyond the
Yeah.
surface is just,
It's so crucial.
it's crucial.
Yeah.
It's not just about what you think you're selling,
Right.
but what the customer
Not actually buying.
is actually buying.
Exactly.
And so now that you've defined your product,
Mm-hmm.
Drucker then kind of dives into the analysis of
Mm-hmm.
revenues, resources, and prospects.
Okay, so this is where the numbers come in.
So where the numbers come in.
Okay.
But Drucker encourages us to look beyond
Okay.
traditional profit margins,
Yeah.
which is how most
Yeah.
businesses measure success.
That's how most people look at it.
He suggests focusing on the total revenue contribution of a product
Yeah.
and its share of the cost burden.
Right.
A product with a high profit margin
Right.
might not actually be as profitable as one
With a lower margin.
with a lower margin,
But higher turnover.
but a higher turnover rate.
Exactly.
It's really about looking at the bigger picture,
Yeah.
the overall impact
Mm-hmm.
on your business, not just the profit per unit.
The overall impact.
And that requires a different way of thinking about costs.
I see.
Drucker argues that a lot of cost accounting figures
Okay.
are misleading, especially in today's world,
Yeah, especially today.
where direct costs
Yep.
are decreasing
Mm-hmm.
and indirect costs are becoming
A bigger part of the picture.
a bigger part of the equation.
Yeah.
This makes me think of a busy restaurant.
Okay.
The cost of ingredients might be fixed,
Right.
but the cost of serving each dish, like the waiter's time,
Right.
that's tied to
Yeah.
the number of transactions.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So Drucker introduces
Yeah.
the concept of thinking about costs
Yeah.
in terms of transactions.
Transactions. Okay.
A lot of costs, he says, are tied
Yeah.
to the number of transactions involved
Okay.
in producing and delivering
Yeah.
a product or service.
So things like processing orders, handling inventory, customer service.
Yeah, processing orders, handling inventory, shipping, customer service.
Yeah, those all add up.
These are all activities that add to the overall cost.
Yeah.
And those costs can vary so dramatically
Yeah, they can.
from product to product.
Mm-hmm.
Drucker gives an example of a study
Oh, really?
that was done by McKinsey & Company
Interesting.
that looked at costs incurred by grocery stores.
Okay.
What they found was that
Mm-hmm.
a case of cereal
Yeah.
and a case of soup
Okay.
might have similar profit margins,
Okay, yeah.
but the cereal actually required a lot more handling.
Oh, I see.
It generated more transactions,
Yeah.
making it less profitable overall.
Oh, interesting.
So it's fascinating, isn't it?
It is.
This insight
Yeah.
is really crucial for
Mhm.
businesses.
Yeah, it is.
It's about understanding the true cost drivers
Yeah.
in your business
Right.
and then making decisions
About pricing.
about pricing and
Yeah.
resource allocation
Resource allocation.
based on those costs.
That makes sense.
You're not just chasing profit margins.
Yeah.
You're aiming for overall profitability,
Raw profitability.
understanding those transactional costs.
Right.
This transactional view
Yeah.
of costs
Yeah.
applies to almost any business.
It does.
It's a powerful tool for identifying hidden costs
Mm-hmm.
and making informed decisions
Mhm.
about where to allocate resources, how to price your products.
Yeah.
It's about seeing your business as a system
Okay.
of interconnected processes
Yeah.
and understanding how those processes generate costs.
That makes sense.
Ultimately, this approach helps you understand
Yeah.
how costs are impacting your bottom line.
Right. The big picture.
Yeah, the big
Yeah.
picture. Drucker also stresses the importance
Yeah.
of identifying and eliminating waste.
Waste. Okay.
He defines waste as any cost
Mm-hmm.
that's associated with efforts
Yeah.
that can't produce results.
I see.
And he says that the most costly waste
Right.
is not doing.
Not doing.
Yeah, think about things like
Gotta.
machine downtime, idle workers,
Oh, yeah.
empty trucks,
Right. Makes sense.
all those instances where resources are being consumed,
Yeah.
but no value is being created.
It's like a car idling in traffic. You're burning fuel, but not going anywhere.
Absolutely. You're
Yeah.
burning fuel, but you're not going anywhere.
Mhm.
This kind of waste can be found in every business,
Oh, yeah.
from the factory floor to the
Yeah.
executive suite.
Right.
And it's often hidden, overlooked,
Yeah.
because it's not directly tied
Mhm.
to the production of a specific product or service,
Right.
but it's still costing
But it's still there.
you money, draining your profitability.
Exactly. So what do you do about it?
Well, how do you identify it and eliminate it?
Yeah. How do you do that?
Drucker suggests looking for those areas
Okay.
where things are slow,
Mhm.
inefficient, or just not happening.
Okay.
Places where people are waiting,
Yeah.
resources are idle, processes are bogged down.
I see.
He encourages us to ask, why is this happening?
Yeah.
What's the root cause?
What's the root of it?
And how can we streamline or even eliminate this process?
Okay.
So it's about challenging the status quo,
Yeah.
looking for ways to improve efficiency and productivity,
Yeah.
but not sacrificing effectiveness.
Right.
Because efficiency for its own sake is pointless.
Totally.
It's about achieving results
That's-
by doing the right things and doing them well.
I like that.
And that's where Drucker's emphasis on knowledge really comes into play.
Okay.
Knowledge is the key to identifying opportunities
Yeah.
and developing the capabilities needed to exploit them.
Okay.
He argues that every business has this specific knowledge
Yeah.
that gives it a competitive advantage.
It's like their secret sauce.
It's like their secret sauce.
That makes them unique.
That makes them unique, yeah.
Yeah.
And this knowledge
Yeah.
needs to be constantly cultivated and updated.
Right.
It's like a chef keeping their recipes
Oh, yeah.
fresh and relevant.
Yeah.
You can't just rely on what you know today.
Gotta keep learning.
Got to keep learning, got to be adapting
Yeah.
to maintain that edge in the market.
Absolutely.
And that's what we'll continue to explore as we dive deeper
Okay, great.
into Drucker's Managing for Results.
I'm excited to hear more.
Yeah, stay tuned.
All right.
We'll be right back after a quick break.
Sounds good.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Yes.
We're continuing our exploration
Okay.
of Managing for Results
Yeah.
by Peter Drucker. Before the break, we were talking about how important it is
Right.
to truly define your product,
Yeah.
by understanding the needs and desires that it fulfills for the customer.
Okay.
Drucker, he cautions against
Yeah.
simply focusing on the physical item or service
Right.
and really pushes us to uncover that deeper value proposition.
I see.
It's about peeling back the layers
Peeling back the layers.
to reveal that core benefit
Mm-hmm.
that truly resonates with the customer.
Makes sense.
He uses a great example to illustrate this point.
Oh, really?
A furniture manufacturer was struggling to reach mass-market customers,
Interesting.
despite offering well-designed, high-quality products.
So what was the problem?
They were distributing through traditional furniture stores,
Okay.
which typically cater to a more, selective,
Right.
higher-end clientele.
I see.
It's like they were trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
Right. Yeah.
Their existing distribution channels
Mm-hmm.
just weren't aligned
Yeah.
with the needs
Right.
and the shopping habits of the mass market.
It's a mismatch.
Total mismatch. Drucker highlights the importance
Okay.
of making sure your distribution strategy
Yeah.
is in sync with your target customer.
Makes sense.
In this case, the mass market, they were shopping at supermarkets,
Yeah.
department stores, discount houses,
Yeah.
environments where self-service and convenience were key.
Yeah.
Furniture stores, with their, reliance on salespeople
Right.
and a more leisurely shopping experience,
Yeah. Totally different.
totally different, just weren't a fit.
They weren't a fit at all.
They weren't a fit at all. So this furniture manufacturer had to rethink their entire approach.
So what did they do?
They needed to find a way to bring the service,
Okay.
typically provided by salespeople,
Yeah.
directly into the product itself.
Interesting.
Imagine a world where furniture
Okay.
practically sells itself.
Yeah. I like that.
Customers could easily understand the product's value
Yeah.
and make a purchase
Right.
without needing assistance.
They had to make it mass market ready.
They had to make it mass market ready. This example offers a really valuable lesson, I
Right.
think, for any business.
What is it?
It underscores that critical link
Mm-hmm.
between product design,
Yeah.
distribution channels,
Right.
and customer needs.
Makes sense.
And it reinforces this need for constant adaptation,
Mhm.
adjustment, to stay aligned
Yeah.
with the realities
Life.
of your target market.
So it sounds like you need to be paying attention to all these different pieces.
You really do. Now, Drucker kind of shifts his focus
Okay.
to markets and distribution channels,
Okay.
which are often overlooked aspects of business strategy.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Many businesses pour all their energy
Mm-hmm.
into product development
Right. Yeah.
and kind of take their markets and distribution channels for granted.
They just assume it'll all work out.
They assume it'll all work out.
Yeah.
And Drucker warns against this complacency.
Okay.
He says that markets and distribution channels are constantly evolving.
They are, yeah.
He even goes as far as to say
Oh, really?
that any decision about distribution channels
Okay.
is probably outdated after 5 years.
Wow. That's a pretty bold statement.
It is a bold statement.
Yeah.
but it underscores the dynamic nature of business.
It does.
It's like driving a car
Mm-hmm.
and only looking in the rearview mirror.
Oh, yeah.
You need to be scanning the road ahead,
Right.
anticipating changes, making adjustments to stay on course.
Keep your eyes on the road.
Keep your eyes on the road. When it comes to markets and distribution,
Yeah.
complacency is not an option.
It's not.
You need to be constantly monitoring, analyzing, and adjusting your approach.
So you're always adapting.
Always adapting, yeah. Drucker reminds us that businesses don't operate in a vacuum.
Okay.
They're part of a larger ecosystem.
An ecosystem.
Yeah, that's comprised of suppliers,
Yeah.
distributors, customers, and even competitors.
That's true.
All these players, they're interconnected.
Yeah, they are.
And any change in one part of the system can trigger ripple effects throughout the entire network.
Like a spider web.
It's like a spider web.
Yeah.
A slight touch in one corner can send vibrations throughout the whole structure.
Exactly.
That's why having a holistic view of your business is so critical.
It's about seeing the big picture.
It's about understanding how all the pieces fit together
Yeah.
and how changes in one area can impact others.
That makes sense.
Drucker emphasizes this need to understand where your true costs lie and how those costs are distributed across the entire economic process,
Across the entire program.
not just within your company's walls.
Interesting.
He challenges the conventional view of cost accounting, which often fixates on internal expenses and overlooks the costs that are incurred by suppliers, distributors, even customers.
That's a good point.
It's like looking at a tree
Okay.
and only seeing the trunk.
Right, yeah.
You know, you're missing the roots,
Missing the whole picture.
you're missing the branches, the leaves,
The whole ecosystem.
the whole ecosystem that supports the tree's growth.
Right.
Drucker encourages us to broaden our perspective, to see the full picture of costs associated with our business activities.
So it's about looking beyond your own walls.
Looking beyond your own walls, yeah. This brings us back to that concept of thinking about costs in terms of transactions, which we talked about before the break.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that costs go beyond just labor and materials.
Okay.
You know, many costs are tied
Yeah.
to the number of transactions involved in producing and delivering a product or service.
So you've got to think about all those different steps.
All those steps.
Yeah.
Think about processing orders, handling inventory, shipping, providing customer service. All these activities generate costs.
Yeah.
And those costs need to be accounted for.
They do.
Drucker highlights this with a really compelling example.
Oh, really? What is it?
A study conducted by McKinsey & Company examined the costs incurred by grocery stores.
At grocery stores. Okay.
They found that while the profit margin on a case of dry cereal and a case of canned soup was almost identical, the actual profit on the cereal was significantly lower.
Oh, interesting.
And the reason
Why was that?
cereal required more handling,
I see.
which generated
More transactions.
more transactions. This insight is crucial
Yeah.
for businesses. It's about understanding
Yeah.
the true cost drivers in your business and making sure your pricing and resource allocation decision
Allocation.
reflect those costs.
Makes sense.
You're not just chasing profit margins on individual items.
Yeah.
You're focused on maximizing
Overall profitability.
by understanding those transactional costs associated with each product or service.
So it's a more holistic view.
A much more holistic view.
Yeah.
This transactional view of costs, I think, applies to almost any business.
I think so too.
It's a powerful tool for identifying those hidden costs and for making really informed decisions about where to allocate resources and how to price your products.
It's about seeing your business as a system.
It's about seeing your business as a system of interconnected processes. And understanding how those processes generate costs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Ultimately, this approach helps you understand how costs impact
your bottom line.
Your bottom line.
Exactly.
Welcome back to the deep dive.
Right.
We are wrapping up our exploration of Peter Drucker's Managing for Results.
Managing for results, yes.
It's been a fascinating journey.
It has been.
Through his insights, which remain incredibly relevant.
They do.
Even in today's rapidly changing business world.
Absolutely.
And remember, We'll be distilling all of this down into a 10-point summary at the end so you can walk away with actionable takeaways.
Love that.
Now, Drucker brings us to this really thought-provoking concept, designing the ideal business.
Ideal business. Interesting.
Now, this isn't about some unattainable utopia.
Right.
It's more of a thought experiment, way to envision the future you want to create for your business and then identify the steps needed to get there.
Okay, I like that.
Drucker emphasizes the importance of understanding the time dimension.
The time dimension, okay.
He argues that different industries operate on different time scales.
That's true.
You know, some, like fashion, move incredibly fast. Trends change quickly. Businesses need to adapt rapidly.
Yeah.
Others, like pharmaceuticals, they operate on a much longer horizon.
Right, much longer.
You know, developing new drugs and therapies takes years.
Takes years of research.
Of research and testing.
Exactly.
So it's crucial to align your planning and decision-making processes with the natural rhythm of your industry.
I see.
He contrasts two aircraft companies.
Oh, really?
To illustrate this point.
Okay.
Curtiss-Wright and the Martin Company.
Okay.
In the late 1940s, Curtiss-Wright was this dominant force.
Okay.
They were the second largest aircraft engine builder in the U.S.
Wow.
They had a solid reputation and a backlog of orders.
Yeah.
Martin, on the other hand, was struggling.
Okay.
They were an airframe builder without a standout product, deep in debt, seemingly headed for obsolescence.
Not good.
But then a new management team takes over at Martin, and they made this bold decision.
What was it?
They defined their present as a period of 8 to 10 years.
8 to 10 years. Wow.
That's the time they estimated it would take to develop a new technology in large-scale systems work.
I see.
They understood that shorter-term efforts wouldn't make sense.
Wouldn't make sense
in their industry.
That industry.
They were playing a long game.
They were playing the long game, yeah.
And this long-term focus allowed them to invest in research and development and cultivate new capabilities that ultimately led
to their success. Interesting.
While Curtiss-Wright focused on the short term, eventually just faded into obscurity.
Wow, so they really flipped.
They really did.
Yeah.
It's a stark reminder of the importance of understanding the time dimension of your industry and aligning your strategy accordingly.
So important.
Don't get caught up in short-term thinking when your industry demands a long-term perspective.
Makes sense.
Drucker also highlights this need to constantly seek and capitalize on opportunities.
On opportunities, yeah.
He believes that successful businesses are built on a foundation of opportunity recognition.
Interesting.
They are always searching for new and better ways to serve their customers.
Okay.
They're not afraid to take calculated risks and explore new avenues.
So they're willing to take risks.
They're willing to take risks. He points to the example of General Motors under the leadership of Alfred Sloan.
Alfred Sloan. Okay.
Sloan recognized an opportunity to serve a broader customer base by offering a variety of car models, each tailored to appeal to a specific segment of the market.
Interesting.
This strategic shift transformed General Motors from a struggling second-tier player into this dominant force in the automotive industry.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's a classic example of how explosive growth can be achieved by recognizing and seizing opportunities.
This makes me think about how important it is to have systems in place for identifying those opportunities.
Absolutely.
You can't just stumble upon them.
You can't just stumble upon them.
You have to be looking for them.
You have to be looking for them.
Yeah.
It requires a certain mindset.
Right, a willingness to challenge the status quo.
A willingness to challenge the status quo, yeah.
To question assumptions.
To question assumptions.
And to really explore new possibilities.
Drucker would definitely agree with that.
Okay.
He also emphasizes the importance of focusing on your strengths.
Right, yeah.
Building your business around your core competencies.
Okay, yeah.
He argues that you should identify those areas where you truly excel and concentrate your resources on those activities.
Okay.
It's about playing to your strengths.
Play to your strengths, yeah.
And not getting distracted by trying to be everything to everyone.
Trying to do too much.
A great historical example of this is the Rothschild banking dynasty.
Oh, the Rothschild.
Which was founded in the late 18th century by Mayer Amschel Rothschild.
Okay.
He had 5 sons.
5 sons.
Each with unique skills and talents. And he recognized the opportunity to leverage their individual strengths. Okay. So he sent each son to a different European capital to establish a branch of the family bank.
Interesting.
He matched each son's skills to the specific opportunity presented by each city. Okay. So his eldest son, Amschel, known for his meticulous organization, was sent to Frankfurt to manage the family's back office and intelligence network. Okay. Salman, the skilled diplomat, was sent to Vienna to cultivate relationships with the Habsburg court.
I see.
Nathan, the financial genius, went to London to establish the family's flagship bank, and so on.
Wow, so he really spread them out.
He spread them out strategically.
Yeah.
By strategically placing his sons and leveraging their strengths. Yeah. Mayer Amschel Rothschild built this financial empire that spanned Europe.
Incredible.
Dominating global finance for decades.
Yeah. That's amazing.
It's a brilliant example of how to build
a successful business.
By understanding your core competencies and putting the right people in the right role.
Put the right people in the right places.
Put the right people in the right places. Yeah. Now let's talk about innovation.
Innovation.
Drucker considers it just the lifeblood.
The lifeblood
of long-term success.
Makes sense.
It allows you to create new value and stay ahead of the competition.
Yeah, you got to innovate to stay ahead.
He differentiates between 2 types of innovation.
2 types, okay.
Exploiting existing knowledge and creating new knowledge.
Interesting. Okay.
So exploiting existing knowledge involves finding new applications for existing technologies or ideas.
So taking what you already know.
Taking what you already know. Think about repurposing an existing product for a new market. Or using a familiar technology in a novel way.
Okay.
Now, creating new knowledge is about pushing the boundaries of what's possible, developing entirely new technologies or ideas.
So really breaking new ground.
Yeah. This involves venturing into uncharted territory and embracing uncertainty.
Yeah, that can be scary.
It can be scary.
Yeah.
Think about scientific breakthroughs or the invention of entirely new products.
Yeah, or processes.
Drucker argues that both types of innovation are crucial for success.
Both are important.
It's not about choosing one over the other.
Right.
It's about finding a balance between exploiting what you know and exploring the unknown.
Okay.
He uses DuPont as an example.
DuPont, okay.
In the 1920s, DuPont made this really bold decision.
What did they do?
They invested heavily in polymer chemistry.
Polymer chemistry, okay.
A field that was
pretty new.
In its infancy at the time.
Yeah.
They didn't know exactly what would come of this investment.
Right. It was a risk.
It was a huge risk. But they believed in its potential to create entirely new industries.
Wow. That's ambitious.
And their gamble paid off.
It did.
It did. Their research led to the development of nylon, Teflon.
Oh, nylon and Teflon.
And a host of other revolutionary products.
Yeah.
Products that transformed
the world.
The world.
Yeah, they did.
DuPont's story really powerfully demonstrates how a company can shape the future by investing in the creation of new knowledge.
So they didn't just follow existing trends.
They didn't just follow existing trends.
They made their own.
They created their own.
That's incredible.
They weren't just chasing, the next hot product. They were creating the future.
Right. They were creating the future.
Drucker also highlights the importance of managing risk.
Managing risk. Okay.
Every business decision carries some level
of risk. Right.
And it's crucial to carefully assess and manage those risks.
Right.
He offers 2 key principles for risk management.
What are they?
First, only take risks that you can afford to lose.
Okay, so don't bet the farm.
Don't bet the farm.
Yeah.
If a venture fails, shouldn't cripple your business.
Okay.
Second, be prepared to exploit success.
Exploit success.
If a venture succeeds, you need to have the resources and the capabilities to capitalize.
To capitalize on that success.
On that success.
Right. So be ready to scale up.
Be ready to scale up.
Yeah.
This reminds me of the old adage, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly.
Exactly. It's about diversifying your risks.
Diversifying your risks, yeah.
And being prepared for both success and failure.
Makes sense.
Drucker also discusses the importance of finding the right balance between specialization and diversification.
Specialization and diversification.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He argues that every business needs to find its own sweet spot.
Its sweet spot,
Between focusing on its core competencies and expanding into new areas.
New areas,
He uses the example of a paper company that was facing this threat from the rise of plastics.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of clinging to their traditional business, they decided to diversify into the plastics industry.
Into the plastics industry. So they
acquired a number of packaging companies that used both paper and plastics.
I see.
This allowed them to leverage their existing knowledge
of the packaging market while also establishing a presence in the growing plastics industry.
So they kind of hedged their bets.
They hedged their bets, yeah. It's a great example of how diversification can help a company adapt to changing market conditions and stay ahead of the competition. They turned a potential threat into an opportunity for growth.
That's great.
Drucker also touches on the role of financial transactions in business strategy.
Financial transactions.
He acknowledges that, mergers, acquisitions, other financial transactions, they can be valuable tools.
Yeah, they can be.
But he cautions against using them as a substitute for a sound business strategy.
Right, yeah.
He points to Litton Industries as an example.
Litton Industries,
This conglomerate grew rapidly in the 1950s and 1960s through a series of acquisitions.
Through acquisitions,
But their growth was ultimately unsustainable.
I see.
Because it wasn't grounded in a clear business strategy or a deep understanding of the markets they were entering.
Yeah.
They didn't do their homework. They didn't do their homework.
So it's a cautionary tale.
It's a cautionary tale. It reminds us that financial maneuvers can't replace...
It can't replace a sound strategy.
A sound business strategy. It's like building a house on a foundation of sand.
Yeah. Not a good idea.
Not a good idea. It might look impressive at first. But it's ultimately doomed to collapse.
Doomed to collapse.
Drucker really emphasizes the human element of business. He argues that economic performance ultimately stems from the people.
The people,
within the organization.
It's all about the people.
It's all about the people. You need to create a culture that empowers and motivates employees. Empowers and motivates, right.
So they can contribute.
Contribute their best work.
Their best work.
Exactly.
He suggests several key principles for building a high-performing organization.
What are they?
Clear communication.
Communication.
Of goals and objectives. Decentralization. Of decision-making.
Decentralization.
A focus on results rather than activities. And a commitment to continuous learning.
Continuous learning.
And improvement.
Love that.
It's about creating an environment where people feel valued and empowered, where they can take ownership of their work, and where they are encouraged to continuously learn and grow.
This kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier.
It does.
About knowledge being the business.
It goes back to knowledge being the business.
Yeah. You can have the best ideas in the world.
You can have the best ideas and strategies in the world.
But without the right people.
But without the right people to execute them.
They're useless.
They're useless.
Exactly.
And this is where leadership comes in.
Yeah.
Drucker argues that effective leaders, they inspire and motivate. Their employees to achieve remarkable results.
Remarkable results. I like that.
They're not afraid to make tough decisions, but they also understand the importance of building trust.
Building trust.
And fostering collaboration.
Fostering collaboration,
They're constantly looking for ways to improve the organization.
Improve,
And they create a culture
of excellence.
Of excellence and continuous improvement.
Continuous improvement,
Drucker's ideas on leadership They're timeless.
They are.
They provide really valuable guidance.
Yeah, valuable guidance.
For leaders at all levels.
At all levels.
So as we reach the end of our deep dive, what are the key takeaways? Yeah. What are the key takeaways?
From Peter Drucker's Managing for Results.
What have we learned?
Well, Drucker encourages us to challenge our assumptions. About business to shift our focus from efficiency to effectiveness.
It's effectiveness.
To relentlessly seek and exploit opportunities. And to build our businesses around our core competencies.
Around those core competencies.
He offers a framework for analyzing our business.
For analyzing,
For making strategic decisions.
Okay.
And for achieving lasting success.
Lasting success? I like
his insights. They remain incredibly relevant today.
They do.
Providing a roadmap for building businesses that are both profitable
and impactful.
And
impactful. That's important.
And impactful. And, as promised, here's a 10-point summary.
Love it.
Of Drucker's key principles. These are the nuggets of wisdom you can take away and apply to your own business.
All right, I'm ready.
Number 1, focus on effectiveness.
Okay.
Over efficiency.
Effectiveness over efficiency.
It just says exist to produce results.
To produce results.
Not just profits.
Okay, that's number 1.
Number 2, understand business realities.
Business realities, all right.
Identify and leverage those external factors that shape your opportunities.
Right.
Number 3, analyze result areas.
Analyze result areas, okay.
Break down your business into key areas where you can measure results.
Measure results, okay.
Number 4, identify your leadership position.
Leadership position, right.
Focus on the areas where you can excel and differentiate yourself.
Differentiate yourself.
Okay. Number 5, think in terms of revenue contribution.
Revenue contribution.
You don't just look at profit margins.
Right.
Consider the overall impact on your business.
On your business, got it.
Number 6, manage costs.
Manage costs through transactions.
Transactions, okay.
Recognize that many costs are tied to the number of transactions.
The number of transactions.
Not just direct costs.
Okay.
Number 7, knowledge is the business.
Knowledge of the business.
Identify and cultivate the specific knowledge that gives you a competitive advantage.
A competitive advantage, right?
Number 8, maximize opportunities.
Maximize opportunities.
Focus resources on areas with the highest potential for growth and impact.
Growth and impact, all right.
Number 9, convert restraints into opportunities.
Into opportunities, okay.
Find the hidden potential in your vulnerabilities and challenges.
In your vulnerabilities and challenges. Interesting.
And number 10, economic results are a human achievement.
A human achievement.
Foster a culture of performance by empowering and motivating your people. Yeah.
That concludes our deep dive into Peter Drucker's Managing for Results.
Managing for Results, yeah.
We hope you found this episode
deep dive
insightful and inspiring.
Inspiring, yeah.
And that you'll use Drucker's principles to guide you.
To guide us.
As you build and grow your own successful businesses.
Successful businesses, that's the goal.
Until next time. Keep diving deep.
Keep diving.
Keep exploring.
Keep exploring.
Your world of knowledge.
Your world of knowledge, yes.